Arch Manning, quarterback at Texas, quickly. In an interview, he said, he was talking about being at Texas now and coming from a small school. He said it was definitely a little bit of an adjustment coming from a 2A private school to the University of Texas, but I've enjoyed it so far. It's been a great experience. Everyone has been super welcoming. There's definitely some days where you think you belong and some days where you're like, wow, this is pretty tough. So you kind of have to stick to the process and try and get better each day. Look, as someone, I lived through this, man. When you go play high-level Division I college football, you get humbled real quick. Mm-hmm. Now, my uncles aren't, 4-time Super Bowl champions, and my grandfather's not a former NFL quarterback. No. So, I didn't have that pedigree necessarily, but, we've been talking about Arch Manning. Quinn Ewers is going to be the starting quarterback at Texas, but he got injured last year. Is Arch Manning going to be the guy at Texas when, even before Quinn Ewers has to leave for any reason?
This is just so tough for me. It's so tough because I'm not there for every practice, right? I'm not sitting and watch take reps. Because if you go look at his film, and I promise you, playing 2A high school, all right, it's not going to tell you a lot. There's not a lot of phenomenal athletes run around in a 2A high school system. Is Arch is he going to be a bust no matter what? Probably, right? Just because who he's related to, it's going to be like LeBron's kid. Right? You're not going to live up to the name. I don't know if that makes you a bust.
Okay.
Exactly. Maybe that's a little bit too strong of a word. But you're never going to live up to the hype, right? It's almost impossible to live up to the hype. Do I think Arch will be a good college football player? For sure. I think.
Okay. So you think he'll start at Texas and he'll be a good
I think after Quinn. Is Malik Murphy still there?
Malik Murphy's still there, and he had a good spring. So that's kind of what I'm asking. Is Arch Manning going to beat out Malik Murphy just because of his last name? Or, I know we can't predict whether or not.
Well, that's when politics come involved. If you're Steve Sarkisian, what are the Mannings breathing down your neck? Because it doesn't seem like it.
It doesn't seem like that. And if you're Steve Sarkisian, you're in year 3 here, and this is your last year in the Big 12, and then you're going to go to the SEC. I don't think there's any room for Steve Sarkisian not to play the best guy.
But I don't think it's a good look for Arch, right? Not even Arch, but the Mannings in general. If Quinn goes, they start Malik. I don't think it's a good look for Arch to transfer. I don't think the Mannings want that on Arch's name of him transferring somewhere. So I don't. It's such a tough spot for Steve because as a head coach, I could give a damn what your last name is. I'm here to win football games. All right, that's my job to do. But it gets to a certain level when certain last names do get involved, like a Manning name, to where politics do come. They do come into play. So if I'm Steve Sarkisian, I'm keeping it as close to the vest as possible. I think Malik Murphy is going to be a better player. All right, I really do after what I've seen from Arch. And it's not like Arch when that highlight film was just absolutely dominating kids.
Yeah, and look, he had every offer in the world, could have gone wherever he wanted. But some of the insiders that we talked about, especially some in Tuscaloosa and other schools, they're like, hey, we kind of have our eye on some of the other kids in this class.
Yeah,
we even more.
Steve's when it comes to recruiting, they're balling right now. So I don't know. I don't know if Arch.
But part of this too is maybe it's this new trend of guys just coming in and starting at quarterback for big-time Division I football programs as freshmen. That is what I had known as the anomaly, right? It does take guys time. From my personal experience, I played for a high school that ran the wishbone, which was an offense completely unsuited for me. But we were winning state championships, and I was playing against the best competition. So by the time I got to Michigan, I at least had that going for me. Whereas other guys had taken more reps, and I could have gone to a private school and thrown the ball every single play and had a bunch of passing reps, and I would have been playing against worse competition. So I would have been more deficient in that area. Maybe this is a situation where Arch he needs to come in and just get the speed of the game, go through some time. He's only been there for a few weeks.
It takes time.
We can't really know yet.
And we kind of got, in high school, it was different. We got caught up earlier. Just because what you said, because the athletes we were playing against. You in Georgia. I played for an air raid offense in Alabama. We threw the ball. Ran a little bit, but you walk in, you're not. You can be shell shocked, guys.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that first day you get out there in pads, it's almost the entire day is like a blur to you.
And the play is that long. And you don't really know what everybody's doing. The defense is flying around.
It's really the pressure you feel. It's a real thing. Do I think Arch will be fine in the long haul? Yeah, I do, just because of who he is, when his last name. These guys are used to this stuff. But I do think Malik Murphy's going to be a better player.
Okay.
I really do. Of what I've seen so far, I'm not in that film room, right? I'm not on that practice field, so you can only know to a certain extent.
Let's stay in the Big 12 because Baylor named Blake Shapen the starting quarterback. So he was the incumbent from last year, and he beat out the challenger Sawyer Robertson, who had transferred in from Mississippi State. Why don't you pull up Baylor's schedule real quick? I know we went through this last week.
And I believe I picked Baylor for the over and our over-under.
That was one of your overs?
That was one of my,
so let's talk about that schedule with Blake Shapen coming back, and he's going to start at quarterback.
So you got Texas State, game 1.
Okay, and
so
who they have? Okay, Texas State. Then who do they have week 2? Utah, that's right.
I'm telling you, that's going to be a hell of a football
And that one's
game,
at Baylor, right?
That is at Baylor.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct.
That's
then you have LIU, which you'll kill. Then you have Texas at home, which will be a hell of a football game. All right. Then you go to UCF, which isn't a walk in the park. All right, with the athletes that kind of, I mean, y'all believe in Plumlee a lot more than I believe in him for UCF. Like the kid, I
believe that he's an athletic quarterback who's returning in the same system.
Okay, Barrett Sally came on here yesterday, and you thought the guy was walking on water.
Well, he did. Yeah, he did. But he did say that he led the SEC in rushing when he was there. Huh?
Yeah, he's a quarterback.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's rare.
He can't throw. He can barely throw. And you walk into I'm telling you, and you want to keep up with these teams offensively in the Big 12, you better start throwing that thing.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to run yourself to a win. I think UCF's going to find that out pretty quick. So it's going to be a great game. Then you got Texas Tech at home.
Whew. I'm really starting to like this Texas Tech team.
Me too, man.
Red Raiders.
Then you go to Cincinnati. We'll see how Cincinnati is after Luke Fickell.
A lot of questions there.
You just really don't know. Then you have Iowa State at home, which is not going to be an easy game. I think Iowa State is going to be a better football team than they were last year.
I hear that every year.
I know. Well, so does Texas A&M.
I hear that every year.
Yeah, so I hear that about Texas A&M every year. Then you have Houston. Then you go to Kansas State.
They go to Houston?
Houston.
Then they go to
Houston at home.
Oh, did they go?
You go to Kansas State.
Good luck.
You go to TCU. Then you end with West Virginia at home. But the thing about me with Baylor is this, okay? I think Shapen's a good player. I think you're going to see a lot of improvement from last year to this year. But I'm more worried about this defense because that was the staple of Baylor. That's who they were. Dave Aranda, he's a defensive guy, mega mind. Like what he was calling, the way they looked on defense last year was not it looked like a Dave Aranda coach defense. All right, so I want to see how that looks. So I think the offense will be good. I think the offense will be defense. But Baylor wins games on the defensive side of the ball. So, I mean, we'll see.
YouTube, thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to our channel. Make sure you share with about 5 friends. No, share with 10 friends, all right? And we'll see you again soon.